If you think you keep failing because you lack willpower, you're wrong. And that wrong belief is exactly what's keeping you stuck. Today, I'm showing you why willpower is a myth and what actually works when motivation runs out. Hey there, I'm Abby Smiley Krause, and welcome back to Straight Talk with Abby. If you're new here, this is the audio series where I give you the real talk about transformation after 40. I'm a personal trainer, certified nutritionist, and accountability coach, and I am passionate about helping you become your best self. How many times have you said this to yourself? I just need more willpower. I just need more self-control. I just need to want it more. How many times have you started a program feeling super motivated, only to fall off the wagon a few days later and conclude you're weak, lazy, or even broken? How many times have you watched other people succeed and thought, gosh, they must just have better willpower than me. They must be stronger. They must want it more. Here's what I need you to understand. You don't lack willpower. You lack a system. You don't need more self-control. You need better structures. You don't need to want it more. You need to make it easier. Because willpower isn't a character trait. It's not something you either have or don't have. It's a finite resource that gets depleted throughout the day, and relying on it for lasting change is like trying to run a freaking marathon with only one bottle of water. So let's talk about what willpower actually is. Willpower is your brain's ability to override your natural impulses and desires in service of a longer-term goal. It's that mental muscle that says no to the donut when you're trying to eat healthy, or gets you to the gym when you'd rather stay in bed. And here's the problem. Willpower is finite. It gets used up. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every impulse you override depletes your willpower reserves. The average person makes 35,000 decisions per day. So by evening or maybe even afternoon, your willpower tank is empty. And this is why you can eat perfectly all day and then devour a sleeve of cookies at 9 p.m. It's not because you're weak, it's because you're human. But the fitness industry has built an entire mythology around willpower. A lot of fitness coaches try to sell you programs that require you to resist temptation constantly, force yourself to do things you freaking hate, rely on motivation that comes and goes, and use discipline for every single choice. And when you inevitably fail, because you will, using this kind of thought process, they blame you. They say you didn't want it enough, you weren't committed enough, or you weren't strong enough. But that's lies, because the most successful people don't have more willpower. They have better systems. So research shows us some really fascinating things about willpower. It's depletable. Every time you use it, you have less available for the next decision, as I mentioned just a few moments ago. It's affected by blood sugar. So when your glucose levels drop, your willpower drops with it. And this is why you make terrible food choices when you're starving. It's impacted by stress. When you're stressed, your prefrontal cortex goes offline and your primitive brain takes over. Willpower does vary by person. Some people do naturally have more willpower than others, but even they can't rely on it indefinitely. Willpower can be strengthened like a muscle. Willpower can be built up over time, but it still has limits. So here's the key. The people who appear to have great self-control aren't actually using more willpower. They're using less, because they've created systems and environments that make good choices automatic. So let me give you an example of this. Let's take Sarah, who wants to lose weight and decides she's going to eat healthy. Every day, she has to make dozens of food decisions using willpower. Should I have the muffin or the apple for breakfast? Should I get the salad or the sandwich for lunch? Should I have wine with dinner? Should I have dessert? By day 3, she's exhausted from all the decisions and fails. Now let's look at Jennifer, who creates systems. She meal preps every Sunday, so breakfast, it's already decided. She packs her lunch, so there's no decision to make. She doesn't keep wine in the house, and she brushes her teeth right after dinner, so she's less likely to snack. Jennifer doesn't need more willpower than Sarah. She needs fewer decisions. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. If there are cookies on your counter, you're going to eventually eat them. If there are workout clothes by your bed, you're more likely to exercise. If your phone is next to your bed, you'll scroll instead of sleep. I know, because I've done it. The most powerful thing that you can do is design an environment that makes good choices easier and bad choices harder. Instead of trying to resist the ice cream in your freezer, don't buy ice cream. Instead of forcing yourself to go to the gym after work when you're tired, work out in the morning. Instead of trying to remember to take your vitamins, put them next to your coffee maker. This isn't cheating. This is smart. This is how successful people actually succeed. Habits are the ultimate willpower saver. A habit is a behavior that becomes automatic. You do it without thinking, without deciding, without using any willpower at all. When working out becomes a habit, you don't need motivation to do it. When eating vegetables becomes a habit, you don't need willpower to choose them. When going to bed at a reasonable time becomes a habit, you don't need discipline to do it. But here's where most people go wrong. They try to create too many habits at once, and they try to create habits that are too big. Your brain can only automate one new behavior at a time. And that behavior, it needs to be small enough that you can do it even on your worst day. Instead of, I'm going to work out for an hour every day, start with, I'm going to put on my workout clothes every morning. Instead of, I'm going to eat perfectly, start with, I'm going to eat one vegetable with lunch. Small habits create big transformations because they compound over time. Instead of managing your willpower, manage your energy. Your willpower is strongest when your energy is highest. And for most people, that's in the morning. So schedule your most challenging tasks, workouts, meal prep, difficult decisions for when your energy is high. Use your peak energy hours for the things that matter most. And protect your energy by getting enough sleep, eating regularly, managing stress, and taking breaks, because tired, hungry, stressed, burned out people make really bad decisions. The most powerful system of all is identity. When you identify as someone who works out, you don't need willpower to exercise. You exercise because that's who you are. When you identify as someone who eats healthy, you don't need self-control to choose vegetables. You choose them because that's what you do. Willpower says, I have to force myself to do this. Identity says, this is just who I am. Change your identity and your behaviors follow automatically. Here's how to build systems instead of relying on willpower. First, audit your decisions. For one day, notice every health-related decision that you have to make, then ask, how can I eliminate this decision? Second, design your environment. Make good choices easier and bad choices harder. Remove temptations, add triggers for good behaviors. Third, start tiny. Choose one small habit and do it consistently until it's automatic. Then add another. Fourth, batch decisions. Meal prep, lay out clothes, plan workouts in advance so you don't have to decide in the moment. Fifth, use implementation intentions. Instead of, I will work out, say, I will work out at 6 a.m. in my home gym immediately after I brush my teeth. Sixth, focus on systems, not goals. Instead of, I want to lose 20 pounds, focus on, I want to build the systems of someone who maintains a healthy weight. You are not weak. You do not lack willpower or self-control or discipline. You are a human being with finite amount of mental energy, living in a world that's designed to deplete that energy and then blame you when it runs out. The solution isn't to get more willpower. The solution is to need less willpower. Stop fighting yourself. Start designing systems that work with your humanity instead of against it. Stop trying to be more disciplined. Start making good choices more automatic. Stop blaming yourself for being human. Start creating an environment that makes success inevitable. Because sustainable transformation isn't about having endless willpower. It's about building systems that work even when willpower fails. And when you build the right systems, when you design the right environment, when you create the right habits, you really don't even freaking need willpower anymore. You just need to show up and let the system do what it was designed to do. Make success the natural, inevitable result of the life you've designed. Your transformation doesn't depend on your willpower, it depends on your systems. And you have the power to build systems that make success automatic. So, stop trying to be a superhuman. Start being systematic. That's where the real magic happens. Thanks for listening to Straight Talk with Abby. If this episode hit you where you needed it, here's what I want you to do. First, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Transformation is contagious, and you never know who's waiting for exactly this message. Second, if you're ready to stop starting over and start becoming the unstoppable version of yourself, I've got something for you. My audiobook, Your Breakthrough Era, Unstoppable Starts Here, is now available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. It's the deeper dive into everything we talk about here. And if you're ready to go all in on your fitness transformation, check out my program, Unstoppable 2.0, my 12-week program that combines fitness, mindset, and identity work to help you become who you're meant to be. You can find all the details at yourfitnesscheck.com. Remember, your breakthrough era doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you decide you're ready. I'll see you next time for more Straight Talk. Until then, keep breaking through.